Hello, how's it going today? Hope everybody's doing well. Got a fun one for y'all today. Still playing standard. I know the modern bands just went through, and modern's looking really good. Definitely going to be jumping over to Magic Online in a little bit and enjoying the new format. But Arena is still pretty good, and I got a deck that I think is going to be super fun to showcase on the channel today. Before I do that, I want to talk about another thing. I want to talk about YouTube comments. Been getting some very nice ones. Here they are, popping up on the screen over there. People, just some general comments. Some people recommending some decks. Giving their opinions on whether best of one or best of three is better. Appreciate all the comments. I try my best to respond to all the comments. So please, if you're watching the video, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you're playing on Arena, what you think about the modern bands, or all the bands for that matter. Or just say hello. Love to hear from you. Really appreciate all the people that did comment over there. And again, thank you. Next, let's get to today's deck. Today's deck is 4-color auras. This deck is inspired by one of my favorite modern streamers, Squad Chief. He's over on Twitch all the time. He was playing this in standard. I don't know exactly his deck, but I just saw the quick makeup of it. I saw a screenshot, and it looked awesome. It's basically a Boggles deck, what it comes down to. We're loading up creatures with a whole bunch of auras and attacking in for that. But this deck, because of a couple little synergies within the deck, it's kind of like a machine gun aura deck. It can just put out so many spells per turn, draws a ton of cards, and you know what? Been doing pretty well with it in testing. So let's take a quick look at the deck. So first, we'll start with the creatures. The creatures, first one is a 2-drop Transcendent Envoy. It is an enchantment creature griffin. Flying aura spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Very important because we are playing a ton of auras in the deck. Next is the Runeforge Champion from Kaldheim. He says, when Runeforge Champion enters the battlefield, you may search your library or graveyard for a rune card, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Pretty good. That it's going to give us a little bit of steam. It's going to make sure we find the exact rune that we want for that situation. But the more important line of text is the line of text below that. It says you may pay 1 colorless or 1 generic mana rather than pay the mana cost of a rune spell you cast. So when we have a Runeforge Champion on the battlefield and we have a Transcendent Envoy, something crazy kind of happens. The Runeforge Champion turns all of our runes into 1 colorless CMC spells, and then the Transcendent Envoy reduces that cost by 1, effectively making all of our runes free. Yeah. Next, we have the Cetessan Champion. She is an enchantress, basically, for 3 CMC, a 1/3 constellation. Whenever enchantment enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Cetessan Champion and draw a card. So, if we do manage to get out the Runeforge Champion, the Transcendent Envoy, and the Cetessan Champion, we're going to be putting out a whole bunch of runes for free, drawing a bunch of cards, and just going to town. So, what are the runes? Well, we're playing all the new runes from Kaldheim. We're playing Rune of Might, Rune of Speed, Rune of Flight, and Rune of Sustenance. We are not playing the black rune because I did want to keep it 4-color. The mana base is already somewhat of a problem. However, if our runes are free, they're free, and it makes things kind of irrelevant. But I am not playing the black one. I just thought these ones were important. Of these runes, Rune of Might is going to be the best one. They are all 2 CMC, 1 generic, and their respective color, and they all draw a card when they enter the battlefield. Rune of Might, however, says get +1/+1 and trample. The other one's a little bit weaker. Rune of Speed is +1/+0 and haste. Flight is just flying, and Sustenance is just lifelink. So a little bit of a mixed bag. But we are playing these because they all redraw. And there's another little upside with these cards that is pretty neat. And I'm not sure everybody's caught on to this. They are enchant permanent, not enchant creature. Usually with an aura, you're going to want to enchant a creature. But with these runes, you can enchant whatever you want. So if you were stuck and you just need to cycle these cards out, throw it onto a land. Why not? Next, We are also playing All That Glitters because once we get all of these kind of low power ruins onto the battlefield, well, our creatures aren't going to necessarily be huge unless it's a Citizen champion. I've had a Transcendent Envoy on the battlefield with like 4 auras on it, and it's just a 3/3 or a 4/3, kind of pathetic. However, with All That Glitters, all of our enchantments are going to increase the power that All That Glitters gives us by 1. And we are playing a lot of them. Obviously, we're playing all the runes, and we're playing Heliod's Punishment as a slight bit of disruption for our opponent. This card is an aura, so it's going to get reduced by the Transcendent Envoy. It won't get it reduced by the Runeforge Champion, but it does get the discount from the Envoy. So it could be a 1 white kind of removal spell in a sense, at least slowing down the opponent for a little while. So All That Glitters is going to get the benefit from all of these auras. It's also going to get +1/+1 from the Envoy because it is an enchantment creature. Pretty great. There are 2 more cards we haven't talked about in the deck. The next one is Enigmatic Incarnation. If you've opened a bunch of Theros and you've been unfortunate enough to probably open this card, you probably thought, oh, I wasted this pack. It's just a dead pack getting a junk rare. Well, finally, I got a place for this card. This card is absolutely crazy in this deck. So like I said, with our runes, we can enchant our lands, or we can just throw them on creatures, but they don't necessarily do too much. However, if this is on the battlefield at our end step, it says at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another enchantment. If you do, search your library for a creature card with a converted mana cost equal to 1+ the sacrifice enchantment's converted mana cost. Put that onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. All of our enchantments are 2 CMC. Most of our creatures are 3 CMC. So on your end step, if you have a Rune of Speed on a Plains, for example, that you did on turn 2 just to cycle it, well, then you can sacrifice that Rune of Speed, get it into the graveyard, and then bring out a Runeforge Champion or a Citizen Champion. Pretty sweet. It's come up a bunch of times, and it's always great value. Now, next thing. Is our deck weak to removal? Sure is. But there is a way that, well, we can work around that. We can dump our aura enchantments into the graveyard with Enigmatic Incarnation, or if our creatures die, those runes or enchantments go into the graveyard, and then we have our last card. We have the Storm Herald. This is kind of our alt win condition, or plan B, if you want to call it that. A human shaman with haste. He says, when he enters the battlefield, return any number of aura cards from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to creatures you control. So not necessarily attached to the Storm Herald. You can spread those enchantments out. Exile those auras at the beginning of your next end step. If those auras would leave the battlefield, exile them instead of putting them elsewhere. So he's kind of like a last resort for us. We throw them out on the battlefield. The cool thing is, though, all of these runes, when they enter the battlefield, they are going to draw from their ETB on the card, and they're going to draw extra cards if we have a Citizen Champion on the battlefield. And then we just go ham. We just load up everything and slam in. The deck is awesome. Maybe it looks kind of weird right now. It looks a little low power, but I'm certain in the gameplay that we're going to see in a couple of minutes, this card and everything else in this deck is going to really surprise you. Next, we have our mana base. The mana base is a little bit clunky because we are playing 4 color. Now, we don't have any 1-drops. This is a 2, 3, and 1, 4 CMC deck. So triomes are pretty good. We are going to play 6 of them, 2 of the Ketria and 4 of the Raugrin. Raugrin? How do you say that? I have no idea. And then we're going to play a bunch of the pathways because the pathways are the second best way to kind of diversify our mana base in Standard at the moment. So this is the deck. There is a sideboard, but I'm going to focus on best of 1 for today because, well, I just want to keep testing the deck. It is still a little bit early. I only made it on the weekend and just played a couple of games with it, but they were always impressive at that point. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this deck has some wheels? Do you think it's just a meme, or it's just going to fall flat on its face? Let me know. And I hope you enjoyed the gameplay that's going to follow. Take care. See you in the wrap-up. All right, playing some 4-color auras in Standard. Best of 1. Trying to have some fun with this deck. Opening hand looks okay. Mana base is good. Can lead on the Triome. Eventually get out this Runeforge Champion. Maybe even cycle the Rune of Speed on turn 2. Lots of options. See what the opponent's on. You see a back like that and you know probably nothing good. But hey, it's a forest. I don't mind seeing that. Got to be a little bit careful with your with your mana base in this deck. I'm always checking the triumphs to make sure opponent likes what we're on to. The Incarnation's really good for turn 4. We could... What? Hang on. Well, facing the mirror? That shouldn't be a thing. Okay. Huh. Okay. So old Russ Gus over there, maybe he's got some ideas in his deck that I haven't thought of. Gonna have to pay attention to what he's playing out. Maybe we can make some tweaks. He's playing the pick. Okay. I like that. Actually, I think my friend Mr. Cheesy's actually recommended the Gold Vein pick. Okay. So I like that. It is making the runes a little bit more, a little safer because they're onto the Gold Vein pick instead of on the creature, so not as vulnerable. Okay, what do I want to do? I think I'm going to put out my own Envoy. Cycle some of these cards, see what we draw. Only got one white source. I kind of want to put the Heliod's Punishment on the Envoy. Attack in for 4. Okay, opponent, what do you got? Next turn we can put out this All That Glitters, really start putting on some damage. Okay, playing the Temples. I thought about the Temples at one point, but I decided to go with the Triomes instead. There's the champion. Not drawing well. That champion can really hurt us at one point. So I think I'm just going to load up the Envoy. Opponent scoops it up. He's not having any of it. Sweet. So the superior 4-color Auras deck over here in this corner. Pretty sweet. I'm always tilting. I like the name. More 4-color Auras just beat the mirror. It was pretty surprising to run into it. I did not expect that to be the case. Mana a little bit rough, but I think it's okay to keep it. I can cycle this Rune of Sustenance and put out the Envoy at some point. We also kind of have our pseudo removal spells, or at least the slowdown spells. I'm still not sure what spells I want to be playing in this slot. I'm gonna put it on that. I kind of went back and forth between Aspirant, Skyclave Aspirant. I also thought about playing 3 CMC Aura removal spells. Yeah. Okay, we're missing our land drops, which kind of makes me think I want to cycle this. We do have the Incarnation, so if we do find lands and get up to 4, we can start getting rid of those, bringing out creatures for them instead. Okay, sure. Okay. Seeing some interesting decks right now. Okay. Mana base is going to be a little bit weird. Don't have access to blue for this Rune of Flight or the Incarnation. Do I just want to put out the Forge Master maybe? Hope he doesn't die. I think that's what it is. Grab a Rune of Speed, pass it over to the opponent. Please don't die, Mr. Runeforge Champion. Got to point out, how cool is that art? I don't know if you played 40k or it's not 40k rather, Warhammer Fantasy. This guy is straight out of a dwarf Warhammer army. Absolutely love the art on this guy. A little unfortunate that he took a fire prophecy to the face, but that's gonna happen. Okay, opponent kind of just digging for something. Not the land we want to see. It's an okay land, but okay. Rune of Speed onto the Envoy, make him a 2/2 with haste. We find yet another blank as far as lands go. So get in for 2. Really want to find that Triome on turn 1. I think that's when I've met the most success with this deck. Yep, struggling a little. Put that out just to kind of mitigate a little bit of damage. I think I'm also going to put this down. Hopefully find... There's a blue source, but it's a couple turns behind. But once we get this incarnation down, all of these auras can start doing something. And our opponent's down to 2 cards. Not really doing a whole lot. I don't care about taking 2 damage a turn. Okay, that's a little bit more damage a turn now. Find the Cetessan Champion. So, that's definitely going onto the battlefield. And then she's going to go out. And I think I'm just going to kind of cycle this Heliod's Punishment. Draw a card, pump her up a little bit. Find the Rune of Flight. Finding all the blue stuff. Only have 1 blue source though, so things are going to be a little sketchy. Okay, opponent down to 1 card. Flooding out a little bit over there. Guess same amount of lands we have. He's attacking. I'm gonna take it. I don't like risking. He might have another prophecy, fire prophecy. Okay. So we find yet another blue source. I kind of just want to do this though. Draw a card. Grow the champion. Brutal. Okay. Still not the worst, because now we get to start doing cool stuff with the incarnation. Lots of targets for us to sack. Gonna definitely go get a Runeforge champion. Probably grab a Rune of Might. Pass it back. So we got lots of mana. We're going to be able to play out. We have 2 blue sources, so we can play out all 3 of our auras. That's going to draw us 6 cards potentially this turn. Opponent having trouble. So you might actually see the machine gun part of this deck right now. No blocks. Well, that's just about perfect, isn't it? As long as he doesn't have removal. If he has the prophecy for this card, gonna be annoying. What do you got, opponent? I feel like he's sitting on... He must be sitting on something like a Heartless Act or some kind of removal. Here we go, though. Guess I'm getting ahead of myself. Draw a card. Ooh. It's much cooler when the opponent yields. Oh, we find yet another all that glitters. Yeah. Let's keep it going. Okay, opponents had enough of it. I mean, it was a little bit of BM on my end, but I didn't know what that card was. It was definitely interaction, and I was making sure I was winning on that turn. We could have kept going a little bit harder. We had access to 3 mana. Could have played out a Runeforge Champion, trying to dig for more. We don't. Well, we have a white source there for the Heliod's Punishment. So it's the odds are that we were going to find a few more enchantments and just keep digging through the deck, which is just what I love about the deck. It just goes and goes and goes. Thankfully, the opponent a little bit light on removal and couldn't handle it. I'm not sure what he was doing with this deck. I'm sure there's something cool behind it, but hey, Aura's taking the win. Go on to the next one. Okay, continuing on against PV, we faced the Mirror in the first match, and then a Rakdos type deck in our second match. Not really sure what the opponent was up to over there, but we were able to take that one pretty easily. This opening hand, the mana base makes it a little bit questionable. I am going to keep it though because I can cycle both of these runes of speed. Okay. Ooh, another Aura's deck. Oh, okay. Well, we find the white source. So I think I'm just going to lead on the Envoy. I'm a big fan of this card art too. Something about it. I bet this card in foil absolutely pops. A little unfortunate that he had the glass casket, but them's the beats. Okay, play this out and just hope for no more removal. A turn 3 Skyclave Aspirant would be pretty devastating. Glass casket also serving that purpose. All right, now we are into cycle our runes. Okay, the Cetessan Champion is okay. How many glass caskets could he really have? He did miss a land drop that turn. Okay, there's the Luminarch. She was actually in this deck at one point and ended up getting cut. So we make our land drop. I'm going to put in another champion. Again, how much removal could a mono white deck really have? The answer is enough. Okay. Good, good, good. Well, I'm fine blocking there. All right. Get a Rune of Sustenance. Draw a card. Draw a couple cards. Ooh. Okay, now I don't feel too bad loading up the champion. What do you got, opponent? You got 6 damage to the face. This Life's Bounty is gaining him quite a bit of life. Oh, okay. He's on a mono white like equipment deck. I like this. Now. Cool. Goal here is just to gain a bunch of life. That's not great. No, it's alright. It's actually just fine. Didn't even let me choose the side. Yeah, this deck is just boggles. This is just boggles. So I'm feeling pretty good about this one because even if he does remove the champion, Mr. Storm Herald's going to come in as a flying giant. Let's see. He does have the removal for it. He's going to be so sad. I'm not happy about this, am I? See, this is the cool part. Even through this kind of removal, you. Wow. Yeah, you gotta play him out if you got him, right? How big can we make it? Cool. You're gonna have fun with this deck. If you're playing this deck, you're gonna absolutely love it. I guarantee it. So taking down mono white, 3-0, going well. On to the next one. Okay, more 4-color auras. Deck's doing well. Just took a little break for lunch, but I think last one we went up against was mono white, and deck definitely did well. This hand, we got a little bit of removal, but I mean, there's no game plan here. I don't think I really want to keep this one. Okay, this looks a lot better. Mana base, we're missing our blue source, but that's okay. We're going to throw away one of the Transcendents. Lead on the plains. Pass it over to the opponent, see what he's up to. More white. Lots of white in the format. Okay, we're going to definitely need green, so throw it on that. And mana base is looking okay. Again, blue, not a huge necessity. Oh, okay. Opponent's going aggro. Alright, I think I want to start drawing cards. I'm not sure how much removal this opponent's going to be playing, but get the Cetizen Champion out. May as well attack for one. I'm not going to be blocking this Hollow Blade. Alright, what do you got? If he doesn't have removal, this Rune of Speed could really turn into something magical. Okay, another mountain and a war leader. So he is on warriors. That's cool. I've never seen this card. All right. Glad people are trying stuff out. I really like being in Mythic. I don't have a desire to really grind into the higher ends of Mythic because I imagine that's where you're going to run into a lot of meta decks. I feel like here, a lot of people are just having fun, experimenting, playing cool stuff that they think might work. So play out the Rune of Speed. We're going to draw 2 cards. Hopefully it is another enchantment. Really like to be able to... that's not an enchantment. That's not an enchantment. That's a blue source, but a little bit brutal on that end. Okay, attack in for 4 though. Opponent's going to be hitting me for a lot. Maybe I should have left the champion back on defense for this war leader, but hey, this is an aggressive deck. We're attacking, aren't we? Get on in. No more lands deck. I would really, really love another enchantment. Okay, he's got the realm, Sword of the Realms, which is going to add a little bit of damage. Okay. Glad this card's seen play in another deck that I'm going to be working on at some point during this week. I will be playing that card. Okay, let's see if we can get this Cetizen Champion out of this Hollow Blade's range. Man. What? Come on. Come on, deck. Don't do it. Don't do me like this. Okay, well, we find the guaranteed rune for next turn, but I can't attack in with the champion. And I think I have to chump block with this Envoy now. That is some unfortunate running from the deck, drawing all the lands. I think the deck plays 22 lands, something I didn't mention in the opening video. You could have just counted the lands if you'd like. I will be posting the deck list, of course, down below in the information. It's always there. All right, well, what do you do? Oh. got a block here, right? I think I got a block there. But, like, does he have a way of giving... pumping? He might have a way of pumping the creature, but we are gaining life here. He might actually just try to pump. Maybe that's not too bad, because I do have the Storm Herald that can bring back the enchantments. No, I think I have to block. Be safe about this. Okay. Wow. Wow, really? Does he have two? Okay. That definitely worked out a lot better than I would have expected it to. So now... No. I guess it is just this. Gotta hope to draw into something off this rune. I'll give her... Do I want to give her flight? Or do I just want to make her stronger? I think I just want to make her stronger. Come on, runes. Draw me a couple more. Oh, there's the best draw in the deck. Okay. And now I think the position is pretty good. Attack in with an 11-12 trample lifelink. And like I said, even if he does have a way of dealing with this champion, same with the last game that we saw, this Storm Herald in the back here can come in. He already has haste. He's not going to have really any evasion other than trample. He's got a bunch of 1/1s though. Even if they're indestructible, should be okay. So feeling pretty good about the state of this game. Although it was a little sketchy with the amount of lands that we drew. Might be okay. Okay, opponent's got another Lord. I'm not sure why he threw away his Lord the last time. Wait, what can this do? Okay, so he's going to have double strike. That's fine though, right? Yep. All right. Awesome. So we got a little bit lucky to finally find the All That Glitters. Might have kind of lost the game if that weren't the case. But, yeah, pretty sweet. Go on to the next one. All right. So I am 4-0 with 4-color auras. On to game 5. See if we can seal the 5-0. I think the deck's running really well lately. But we've run into some not weak decks, but you know, the deck we don't want to see is going to be like a Yorion pile or like a Doom Foretold deck. Those decks with tons of removal are going to be the death of us. So this deck's looking okay. We have 2 Triomes, we have cards that we can cycle, and then a Storm Herald that can eventually maybe just run away with the game. Opponent leads off with a Black Source, of course. Okay, Triome for us. Next turn, I'm thinking I might go with the Pathway to put one of these on a land. And that's what I'm going to do. Rune of Sustenance is one of the weaker ones in the deck. Draw another land. Sure thing. What's our opponent up to? Nighthawk Scavenger. Sure. So I'm going to put out a Setessan Champion. I don't have a lot of faith that she will make it to turn 4, but if she does, hey, cool for us. A little unfortunate about the champion is that she is when the enchantment enters the battlefield, not when you cast the enchantment, like the other card that's used in Historic that's slipping my mind. The 0/2 that just gets bigger with every enchantment. Okay, opponent had a Heartless Act, a little unfortunately, but I kind of, you know, you got to expect that when your opponent's playing black. Play out the Triome, fix our mana a little bit more. And please live, Mrs. Champion. Yeah, lots of cool Theros cards to put in this deck. Both of these from Theros. The Incarnation also from Theros. Blood Chief's Thirst. Okay. Well, I think I would rather... what do I want to do? I really wish I could have loaded these runes onto the Setessan Champion before he killed it. So they could be in the graveyard for the Storm Herald, obviously. Do I just assume that he doesn't have any more removal? That would be maybe a dumb assumption. Really need to find the Incarnation. Okay, I'm just going to cycle these. Keep digging for it. Okay. Maybe there was an argument to be made to keep that Triome to cycle it on its own, since we already do have decent mana. All right. Opponent improving his clock a little bit. Okay, find the Envoy. That's fine. It's a better target for these runes at the moment. Even if he kills it, again, just getting them in the graveyard. Damn. All right, let's assume that he doesn't have any more removal. He is down to 1 card. So now I can start loading up the Herald, doing the Herald the old-fashioned way. Okay. Soaring Thought Thief. That could be a problem. Damn. Would have been nice if he milled that last turn. Oof. Okay. No more lands. No more lands, please. No more lands. Well, that's not the worst. May as well attack with the Storm Herald. He's not blocking any of these creatures. Oh, I'm just dead. Oh, no, I can block with the Envoy. So if he has removal for the Envoy, the opponent takes the game. A little, I mean, what can we really do about that? A little bit of a shame that our potential 5-0 is going to fall apart with all these beautiful lands, but that's okay. Opponent had what he needed to deal with what I had. Another Thief. All right. Oh, there's the... Well, it's a little late for that card anyways. Block the Scavenger. Oh, he pumps everything up. Yep. Not much I could do about that one. All right. Hey, the Runes deck still showing its power. Sometimes you flood out. Oh, well. Go to the wrap-up. All right, so the 4-color Auras deck, I think it's awesome. I think it runs pretty well, and most importantly, it's super fun to play. There were a couple of games where you saw that I was just churning through the cards. We saw a giant Storm Herald at one point, hitting the opponent for what, like 30, 40 damage, something like that. We saw the combo between the Runeforge Champion and the Transcendent Envoy, giving our cards... a 0 mana cost and just redrawing. Setessan Champion started to get a little bit bigger. She ended up eating a lot of removal throughout those 5 games, but hey, that's what's going to happen. Saw all that glitters doing big things, and even the Incarnation, although it was a little absent from the deck, unfortunately, there were a few times where it came down and you could see how it would work at least. So, the problem that we ran into at one point was kind of flooding, but I mean, hey, it's Magic. Everybody's going to flood at some point. The Triomes do have cycling on them, so you can at least ditch them if you end up drawing too many. Overall, I think the deck's super cool. There are cards that I am considering, like I mentioned in our matches. The Life's Bounty would probably be a very good fit for this deck, being that it is an enchantment. There is also the Archon that a friend recommended, this fella here, Archon of Sun's Grace. I'm not sure how I feel about this card, but I would like to put it in and maybe run it through some games just to see how it plays out. I'm not sure if I really need that go wide strategy, since we are kind of a go tall strategy, loading up one creature to be really big. Anyways, that's the deck. We just did best of one. I'm loving this deck so much, so I suspect I'm probably going to play another game with it at some point this week. Probably try the best of three. Here's a sneak preview at what I have for the sideboard as it is. Just 4 cards. What else are you going to put in it? Banishing Light for bigger problems that we got to get rid of. Scavenging Ooze is always good against any kind of graveyard thing, graveyard plans. And Karametra's Blessing, because it's an enchantment deck and our creatures are mostly going to be enchanted, so I feel like this could be a pretty neat card to bring in against some of those hyper removal decks. And Skyclave, she used to be in the main. I moved her over to the side, brought in Heliod's Punishment instead of her. The big problem with the Skyclave Apparition is that 2 white mana cost over here. That can be very difficult for a full 4-color deck to pull off. Definitely struggled with that. I'm not sure she even belongs in the sideboard. We'll see. Got to go over a little bit more. Anyways, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about this deck. Have you tried out an Auras deck? Have you had any luck with it? Do you have any suggestions for it? Would love to hear what you all think. Take care for now. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment below. Hey, maybe you'll also like and subscribe. All that good stuff. All right. Bye-bye for now.